Hold on, is this live?
But the big thing I think we can do is figure out what to do with health insurance for people that don't work for big companies, because I have experience. I've started two businesses, one that failed, one that hasn't yet.
Are we
Um,
getting into Expand Medicaid? Is that what's happening right now?
that's right. That's absolutely
Oh,
right. So from a business standpoint, not any other standpoint, um, if I was to buy unsubsidized insurance from Blue Cross and Blue Shield, I'm only mention that name because that's the only place in Wyoming that an individual like me can buy insurance.
mhm.
Um, the uh, the cost of an insurance policy for me with a huge deductible uh, is about $1,200 a month. Now, the Affordable Care Act provides some subsidies. So when my company's not doing real well, which like through COVID it wasn't, I didn't have enough income to pay that whole amount, and somebody paid it. In this case, the federal government. Um, but I still pay, even with all that, pay around $800 a month. Well, if you're trying to start a new business, and just for an individual, it's that kind of money. What is it for a family? And how many people never try to start this business? They have a great idea, a creative idea. It would probably work, but they're not going to do it because they have to hope that the coal mine stays open, because with the coal mine, they get insurance. And so they can't take that step away and try to be an entrepreneur. And it just seems like, from a purely business standpoint, we could go through about, and we will go through about 10 good reasons we want Medicaid expansion, and maybe even something beyond Medicaid expansion. But the first good reason is that somebody that's not making very much money as an entrepreneur, which nobody, very, very few people are lucky enough to make a whole bunch of money the first year their business is open, right? I mean, that's just not the way it works. So the first couple of years your business is open, you're barely getting by. If you knew while you were barely getting by that your family would have insurance, you're willing to take that risk, right? But if your family doesn't have insurance, there's nobody that's going to take that risk. Nobody. That's a big risk for a family, for your children not to have insurance. So that's, to me, that is the huge economic reason to expand Medicare. Now, the fact that, rural hospitals are going to close if we don't expand Medicare. Why? Because people still get sick. It doesn't matter whether they have, money or not. And so they go to those hospitals, and most of those hospitals are pretty good people. And so they treat people. And if the people have no insurance, those hospitals just eat those bills, and they do that all the time in rural areas of Wyoming, and therefore we lose rural hospitals all the time in rural areas of Wyoming. So now we put people in a situation where no matter how much money they have, it's more than 100 miles to the next hospital, and that just seems like a bad way to run a state to me. So there's that reason for Medicaid expansion, and then to me the fundamental fairness that old Ted Hanlon, who makes pretty decent money, he can have health insurance, but if you don't make the money I make, you can't have health insurance. That you've got a job, you're working your tail off, and you still can't afford health insurance. There's nothing fair about that. There's nothing reasonable or right about doing that. So from every single standpoint I can think of, Medicaid expansion is something we have to do for this state. But back to our original, what do we do about Gillette? Medicaid expansion would sure help Gillette, because it would sure help a couple of entrepreneurs get going and start some business that you and I don't know what that business is by definition, right? Somebody's got some great idea up there, and we don't even know what it is yet, because he's the guy with the idea. So we just need to encourage those folks in every way we can. And again, going back to the whole SOAR Kentucky thing, they've found that is the biggest way to create jobs. That's far more beneficial than trying to have some big tax breaks for somebody to come in with a big industry. You get a lot more bang for encouraging entrepreneurs and having people start businesses right there. So
Sure. I do agree with you that I think at least on the side of the entrepreneur, I don't think that our state is very friendly to young creative entrepreneurs. I think that that's, and this is purely anecdotal. I don't have a study in front of me, but everybody that I've known growing up, and I've grown up in Cheyenne my whole life, or basically my whole life, everybody that's went to the University of Wyoming, got a degree with the cheapest in-state tuition, in the nation, they leave. They go somewhere else. They take that degree and they go get a job in another state. And I think that's because we're not very friendly, unless you want to work in the energy industry, which is, I truly believe, is a small percentage of young people nowadays. I mean, most young people are not trying to get a CDL. They're not trying to go be a roughneck or a coal miner. It doesn't sound pleasant. It's physically taxing. It destroys your body long term. Even holding a CDL, which I myself was a truck driver, your body has long term repercussions from sitting in a chair for 12 hours a day and eating terrible truck stop food. And it seems that those are the jobs that are readily available here, unless you want to make a wage that's not livable. And then, of course, now you're in a whole other situation. So I would like to see that change.
yeah, me too. Encouraging young people to stay here is one of my fundamental reasons for trying to get involved in politics. I'm not a very natural politician, but I really hate it that young people can't stay in Wyoming, and I hate it that I've got kids and grandkids in Portland and Houston, and we get to see them once or twice a year. That's just not the way it's supposed to be, and it's that way for almost everybody in Wyoming.